I can't see anything on my end. Here, can I find that live now? Yeah, we're currently on the screen. Yeah. Okay. We're good. All right. Welcome to Half Baked Science. I'm Alan. So, yeah, what is this? What are we doing here? It is what it is. Yeah, I think the idea that we're aiming for, and this is probably going to change a lot in the next 10 to 50 minutes, is we're going to bring stories to each other about something that was just completely half baked, some kind of engineering or some kind of science that is just bad in some way or poorly thought out or just like not quite there, and just have a good laugh at the foibles of humankind. You don't have sound. Uh-oh, do I have sound? Do neither of us have sound? Just you. Uh I can watch you on screen and then dub in approximately what you're saying by lip syncing. No, that's your voice. No, stop it. No, okay. Uh, okay. So now we've got audio. No, okay. Stephanie is working on getting the audio back. If you could not hear what she's saying, she's saying a lot of very smart things about audio and encoding and bits and bytes
Oh,
and
how do I test this?
how Skype works. I think you just need to ask people
Well,
who are
yeah,
in
but
the.
there's a delay. Well, I'll just wait. I think
We'll
I did
find out.
it.
We'll find out in a few seconds.
Oh, this is great.
In the
Well,
meantime, we just got to make sure that we're filling up this sweet, sweet dead air.
you need to sing. You need to start singing right now.
Okay, so I am a big fan of Steven Universe. I don't know if you guys know Steven Universe. The movie recently came out. Are
It
you
works
back? Is
now.
your
Yeah,
your
yeah.
audio's back? All right,
Yes.
fantastic.
Thank you, beautiful people. Capsule.
All
You
right,
rock.
so
Yeah. Okay.
what was all the stuff that you were saying before because no one heard it?
Well, in a nutshell, I want a podcast. I pitch it to you. We're both too lazy to do a podcast. We're doing live streams. The idea is to bring each other stories of half baked things, half baked science or engineering or inventions.
Yeah.
And yeah, the whole point is I love talking about these things. I enjoy talking to you a lot. So
Ah,
it was
shucks.
just
I like the sound of my own voice too.
I mean, I know you do, but it was just an excuse to hang out more.
Yeah,
And
pretty
yeah,
much.
yeah.
Yeah, I think it's really like as a YouTuber slash content creator slash influencer slash all those disgusting words. Like it's really easy
Hey,
to just kind of like they're disgusting. They're disgusting words. It's really easy to just kind of like this room here is like where it all happens and where the my entire life is.
yeah.
And it's very easy to forget that there's actually a door over there. Not that we're outside or anything, but this is kind of like the halfway point. It's kind of like why I like Breath of the Wild so much because it's like all the benefits of being outside without actually having to go outside.
I don't
You
know
play
what that means.
Zelda,
Oh
Legend of
yeah,
Zelda,
yeah,
Breath
yeah,
of the
yeah, yeah.
Wild
I
on
don't
the
know the
Nintendo Switch.
titles. Okay, let's move on. Okay. Oh, I just want to say something about the people in the chat. We will address your questions and
Yeah, how do
things,
I? If I
but I
click on this,
think
will I be able to see
I
the
think
chat here?
wait,
Oh, look at that!
we should
I
do
think
a
I see the
format.
chat.
Alan, listen.
Loud and clear. Woo! Hi from
Listen.
Mexico. I can
Alan,
see it. What are you saying? Yes.
listen.
Yes. What are we doing?
Chimichanga. Okay. um, No, I was trying to say that we should have a format for us addressing people in the chat, and I think we can. One of us says story, then we do like an intermission for questions or talk to them, and then we do the next story. Or
Yeah, that can be the plan, and then we'll see what actually ends up happening, because everyone's got a plan till you get punched in the face by your audience, by the podcast.
Yeah.
This is a great. I think that's Mike Tyson. That's a great quote. You don't know Mike Tyson?
So
okay. Yeah. What do we got? Because I want to talk about first of all #Team Trees, because the Team Trees campaign is already halfway to $20 million. Mostly because like a bunch of freaking millionaires dumped in millions of dollars. Like Elon Musk went in for $1 million, and he changed his Twitter handle to Treelon because people are calling him Treelon Musk.
That is super cool. I saw that, and it just makes me so happy to see that someone like with that amount of money and resources actually jumped in. And yeah, I don't know. I was like, oh, cool. Like, yeah, I was not expecting that, and it's so cool.
I don't really have money, so I figured I would just eat an apple and then spit the seeds out outside on the front lawn. I mean, that's like $5 worth of what they're trying to do, right?
That's your half-baked version of how you help.
Yeah. I mean, trees are easy to grow. That is not true. That's why they're getting the Arbor Foundation to help them out with that whole thing, because they actually know how to plant trees. If it was like a bunch of idiot YouTubers trying to figure out how to plant 20 million trees, it would not go very well at all.
Well, my thing to share about Half-Baked this week is my fire alarm. By the way, disclaimer, my sound again. The fire alarm in my apartment has been ringing just randomly. It woke me up Friday at 1 a.m., at 7 a.m., and then 10 a.m., then 1 a.m. again. I mean 10 p.m., then 1 a.m. again, and then yesterday at 8. So,
that's a terrible schedule. Why is it like... Those are all the hours that you don't want the fire alarm to go off. It didn't have the decency to...
I don't think you ever wanted to ring, but...
If it's like 3 in the afternoon, that's fine. Like, that's just waking you up from your nap in the your afternoon nap.
Yeah, because that's all you do. Listen to podcasts and nap, right?
That's when I would want the fire alarm to go off. If I had the choice between 3 p.m. and 3 a.m., those are... Why is it going off?
So it has like some sort of failure. Even the fireman told us, like, can you tell maintenance to fix it, please? Because like, we don't want to keep coming. And I'm like, I know. I want them to fix it. So it's just...
Did you say mittens?
No.
I heard mittens. I thought your landlord was an adorable kitten or something for a second. Sorry.
Maintenance.
I heard you say mittens. I'm sorry.
It's my Texican. It's my Texican. Sorry.
Adjust these little tighter on my head. There we go.
When I get nervous, my Mexican comes out, and then also when I'm mad, my Texan comes out, and so this was like Texican. I'm sorry.
Okay, good. So we'll have a... That means you're nervous and angry right now.
Yeah, I'm so angry about the fire alarm.
All right, I'm good. I'm glad that you have a tell at least, so we'll be able to know when that's happening.
Okay, but let's move on to stories. Do you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so Alan Pan's Half-Baked idea, concept of the week, of the month, of the however often we end up doing this. I have a thing about animals. I really like just really weird animals, because you get like with animals, it's a blind design process. You got billions of years of evolution, just like and selective pressures, creating adaptations, just kind of like out of chaos. And that means like sometimes there are just some really terrible animals. Like there's a list somewhere of animals ranked by how well they're designed, how good they live in the place they're supposed to live, and like at the very bottom, very dead bottom, there is a small parasitic crustacean called a Tantalucaridin. Tantalucaridin.
Okay, what's that?
Oh, here actually, there's a chat. I can actually Tantalucaridin. keratin. I can actually type it in the chat, can't I? I don't actually know how.
You should.
Tantulo. This is compelling. Tantulo keratin. Oh, hi, James. Hacksmith's here.
Yeah.
The tantulokeratin.
Okay, so can you describe that, please?
Yes, it is an ocean parasite, and it has what's known as a double life cycle.
What does that mean?
It is extremely stupid, very inefficient. So, okay, you know how most animals have a life cycle, right? You start off as a baby, you mature into like a moody teenager, and then you become an adult and you reproduce and you make babies, right? You go caterpillar, pupa, butterfly,
yeah,
right?
I saw The Lion King. Yeah.
Yeah. The Charmander, Charmeleon, Charizard. Single life cycle makes a lot of sense. Tantulokeratin, and we're going on a ride now. I hope you're ready for this. Tantulokeratin starts off as a free-swimming larva. Baby tantulokeratin larva swims around the ocean until it finds another crustacean. So it finds like a crab or a lobster or something, hooks on with a sucker mouth, and then its body transforms into a sack of eggs. So this larva is an asexual female. Asexual female.
Okay.
Turns into a sack of eggs. And the thing about the tantulokeratin is it is among the world's smallest crustaceans. So it doesn't have room for like organs or holes in its body. So this larva, once the eggs inside have developed far enough, those eggs hatch into other larvae, different larvae, and then burst out of that first larva's body. Because there's no birth canal, there's no way of exiting cleanly. They explode out, okay? This is part one.
Oh.
Part two, those larvae that swim out, those develop adult male and females. That's not to say that they develop into, they develop them. These larvae each hold an adult body inside of themselves that grow. And then when they're fully matured, those adults, sexually reproducing adults, burst out of the larva's body. So to give you an idea of what this is like, imagine if you, Stephanie.
Yeah, I need some. Yeah, please.
Imagine if you, Stephanie, were a baby.
Okay.
And instead of growing into adult Stephanie, like over a period of years, baby Stephanie hosts adult Stephanie's body inside of itself. And then that body grows until it's as big as you are now. And then you burst out of the baby's body, fully grown. And you're like, hi, I'm a Stephanie.
Well, that's exactly what happened. What are you talking about? That's not normal?
No, that is a double life cycle. That is not normal.
Messy.
God, ye gods almighty. So, those adults then swim around. They hook up with each other, and they give birth to that first free-swimming larva. So if you're keeping track, between the first baby, that first larva, and the adult stage that reproduces, between those two periods of time, there are like two distinct entities in between that had to explode into the next entity. And they never, like, instead of one thing starting off little and then growing into an adult, it's one thing that explodes into another thing that explodes into another thing that grows into an adult. So it's like, that's the double life cycle of the tantulokeratin.
I got it. I learned something.
Yeah, and it's something that's so incredibly, you would never design that on purpose. You know, it's the inefficiency of, like, it's almost like when you're sending something into space and you're like detaching the booster rockets. like
yeah. That's a good way of seeing it, actually. That's kind of what I was thinking. Yeah, that's perfect.
So it's like the just the absurdity. That animal is absurdity incarnate. Like it's a bureaucracy of an animal. Like you could not design an animal that badly on purpose. That's why.
But why is it badly? I'm pretty sure there's a purpose for this. Isn't there like something?
The purpose is for a bunch of babies to explode into adult. Like each of those babies just is dead, discarded like an empty burlap sack.
Yeah.
Like, evolution is a blind process, and I think the greatest proof of that is this stupid little parasite. Are you really gonna try and tell me that you have like you are pro Tantalokeratin double life cycle, Stephanie?
No, I'm not a pro.
Is that what you're telling me here right now?
No. What? What am I saying? I'm not a pro. Is that what you asked me? If I'm a pro at...
I was just double checking there because it seemed like you
lost
were
me
biased.
for a while. And
biased.
Pro or biased?
Because
no, I meant like if I got
you were
it.
born as part of a double life cycle, according to Stephanie.
No, yeah. No, I think that there must be a purpose to this, and I'm not sure if this is the worst. Is it the worst?
It's truly the worst. I cannot think of a worse animal. We got Gapsil here. Sounds like Tirzu. Have you ever seen Tirzu?
No.
It's a YouTube channel and it's really interesting. It kind of it discusses nature topics as if it was like a video game,
cool.
like meta game commentary. Like once you get really deep into fighting games or like first person shooters, competitive video games, like there's always like a meta game, and people are always talking about rankings and strategies. And Tirzu talks about nature as if it was like a video game in those terms. We got the Circle of Growth over here. Why does James get a check mark? Is it because he's like an actual YouTuber? He's got like
I'm sure I don't have one and I'm a YouTuber.
Want to see an animation of this? Is that weird? Yeah, James, that is weird. That's real weird. Why would you... I think the visual of the toddler exploding into an adult person, like Wolverine bursting out of his tank of water, is enough. Russian nesting doll of the animal.
I like that one. The Russian nesting doll.
Alienception. I want a chest burst out of myself. Yeah, that's pretty much how it works. That's how it goes down. Fortunately, we have large mammalian bodies, and we can afford to have holes and organs that are specifically made to excrete small people out of us.
Well,
at least I don't, but I mean,
I know. I was gonna say. I mean,
half of we as a royal half of us have organs specifically made for excreting tiny people out of ourselves.
Yeah,
and not exploding.
Well, I think that's very interesting. I really want to look it up. I think we should share that if we find animations or if we find pictures, we can share that on our Instagram account.
It wouldn't have evolved this way. Or what?
Alan,
yes!
I was talking. Can you not hear me?
Look, I'm reading the chat here. Yes, sorry.
No, it's okay. So for context, guys, we just had a conversation about interrupting each other.
Oh yeah, I'm a steamroller. People, if you've met me in real life, or if you talk to me in real life, then you'll probably know if I get really excited about something like stupid animals, I just kind of go. And so we've got a couple safe words. The first one is if Stephanie ever says chimichanga, then I need to get quiet. The second one is if she says my name 3 times and then tells me to shut up. So if it's Alan, shut up. That is also my cue to settle down.
And this is a huge step for me. I'm probably gonna have to go to therapy because that's the opposite. What happens to me if someone interrupts me or someone just talks? I cannot jump in. I cannot interrupt that person. I'm like, okay, I guess I'm just gonna listen now, and I just can't do it. So this right now, I'm sweating profusely right now because I just called you twice, like Alan.
Girl, you gotta knock my teeth out. That's what you gotta do, because this mouth, it don't stop till the teeth get knocked out.
We're too far away. I don't think I can do that, but no, I agree. Anyways, as I was saying, I don't know what I was saying. What was I saying?
You were talking about the Instagram.
That's boring. This is more interesting. No, I was just gonna say if we find anything, we'll add it to Instagram. Blah blah blah. Like,
okay. Yeah.
pictures.
I think there is a there are like pictures that you can find sort of illustrating the double life cycle. Eric Romero here says, "Put your boots on and own it." I think that's for you. I would definitely get the boots on.
What? Don't you have boots?
I do, but I don't got to kick anyone's teeth in. I'm the steamroller.
Is it because I'm from Texas or I live in Texas?
Boots are a thing. I assume you have one of those big cowboy hats too. I assume those come with going into Texas.
But I do have 2 pairs of cowboy boots. So
I knew it.
But one pair is steel-toed. I love them. yeah, steel-toed. But anyways.
Yeah, John Chef's. I will point this out. Double Life Cycle wouldn't have evolved this way if it weren't successful in its environment. Hi, John. Hi, Chef Stall. So what I will point out is I'm pretty sure the consensus is the reason for its reproducing this way is because it is literally just too small to have the necessary organs to safely give birth and stuff. I still think it's stupid. Because, like, you know, if you're gonna be in that niche as a parasite, like, oh, I'm the world's smallest crustacean parasite, like, why even bother? Just don't do that. Just be big enough to have a birth canal. Like, come on, animals.
But it's not their fault. I feel so bad for these tarantula, whatever it's called.
You shouldn't. They're awful animals. They're at the bottom of the list.
What did they do to you?
They're below koalas, which, let me tell you, I could go off on koalas. I have gone off on koalas, and those are not even at the bottom of the list.
Okay, we'll cover koalas in the next episode. Not in the next one, but in some episode. Not in the next one.
All right, half-baked Stephanie. What does a Stephanie have half-baked?
Okay, we're ready. Are you ready for my story? Oh my gosh!
Yes, I want to hear about this. I hope it's.
But is
cupcake.
that it? Do you have any closing remarks on the
closing remarks for the Tantalakeratin, other than it is a horribly designed animal, and that it's a victim of natural selection as a blind process. Mm-hmm. No, boo-hoo. Still the worst animal.
Okay.
I don't care.
All right. That's fine. And we read, okay. And you read the comments. All right.
Bottom of the list. Oh, you can make Alan a taser collar that shocks him when you say shut up.
I can.
Wait, do I might have a taser in here right
now.
No.
I have to make it. And also, I could control it from here. That's the thing.
You could probably set that up with like oh geez, when's the last time I did IoT anything?
Oh.
I don't know.
You don't have to tell me. I can tell you.
Particle Photon, I think, was the hot board last time I checked, but that might be old by now. These dev boards all like they make new ones so fast that I feel like a caveman already, just like being out of the loop for like a year.
That's the thing. If you don't keep up, you are out of the loop. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll think of something.
That's the last dev board that I remember being like sort of the out of the box IoT dev microcontroller embedded whatever board.
I mean, they're still around. I like them.
You could also use the new Raspberry Pi.
Yeah.
That's like
which
Pi
one, the 4
now that they're on? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, but it's like this big, and then your color is going to be like this.
That's fine.
That's nice. I can give you like one of those foam colors for when like you get in an accident. Sorry, and then you just put it here in a huge battery.
I as long as it's not something I gotta wear like every single day, I'm okay with it.
Just for the podcast.
Okay.
I'm kidding.
Yeah,
All right, ready for my story? Yeah,
yes,
ready.
Please. I hope it's about cupcakes.
It's definitely not. It is one of my favorite stories ever because it has everything I like. Like I kind of tried to tease yesterday. It has drama and film directors and programming and nerdy stuff and okay. I'm just,
oh wait.
Don't guess. Do not guess.
Okay,
Do
I have a guess. I think I.
Okay, fine. Guess.
No, please.
I'm just gonna say it. So my story today, maybe some of you have heard it, but if not, I just want to tell you my 2 cents. It's about the E.T. video game.
Oh, I knew it! That was totally my guess.
Yeah, well, so...
I know, like, a little bit about this. Ooh. I don't know the whole thing. All I know is, like, at some point, didn't they, like, bury every single copy, like, in the desert?
Alan! Let me tell my story.
Okay. Tell a story.
Okay, yeah, so there is that. But anyways... 1982. I have a note right here. Sorry. 1982. Atari released E.T., the extraterrestrial video game. And people didn't like it very much. And that's it. That's the whole story. But I'm going to tell you the drama around it. Hold on.
I've never, for the Atari, I've never actually played an Atari game before.
Well,
like, not even on an emulator.
No, well, the emulators for sure. Have you ever played Pong? You know, the do.
Yeah, not like I've always played some mobile game sort of like version where it was like it had a bunch of sparkles and bells and whistles added on. Or like I've done VR Pong before at a place called 2-Bit Circus. You like put these VR headsets on and you are the paddle and you have to like get your face in front of the ball. But I've never actually played it so we're talking like 8-bit, like it's the video game is like kind of a blocky 2D Minecraft kind of a situation.
Yeah. Okay, well,
I feel like such a freaking boomer. Are we allowed to swear? I almost dropped an F-bomb right there. I feel like such a freaking boomer, like trying to figure out how to talk about 8-bit video games and saying that's like it's a 2D Minecraft.
That's terrible. I don't even know where to begin with that because I like video games a lot, and we need to talk more about that later. I'm gonna show you some awesome games. You can even play this one, but let me get to the story. So here's a classic example of an engineer being challenged to do something and him being like, oh, I could totally do that, which I think we've all been there. So this dude, his name is Howard, I want to say it right, Howard Scott Warshaw. He is a kid. He's 24 years old. He started at some other company.
Baby.
Yeah, baby. Then he went to Atari, and he's actually really, really excited about Atari because this is the first company ever to start like the whole Silicon Valley startup feel. Like you're partying every day. They're actually doing drugs and drinking. And it's like have a lot of fun and then also work. And that's the first company ever to do that. So yeah.
Is this like where is this in relation to like Apple or Microsoft or like I don't really the 80s kind of gets jumbled up for me.
I got you. No worries. So Steve Jobs worked there and he was also a kid. But then he quit and he started. So Steve Wozniak and Steve Jobs worked there together to make a video game there. But it was an arcade game. But they were before this guy that I'm telling you about because this guy made the cartridge kind of game for the Atari 2600.
So this is like the dawn here, like the very like just pre-dawn personal computing era.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah. So what's happening is so it's good to put the perspective, right? So Silicon Valley, before anything, Atari is the very first company to figure out that you can have like home computers, but for games. And they make it happen. It's booming. Everybody copies them. They copy the Pong. They copy everything. They copied the Pong too, so it doesn't matter. Don't feel bad for them.
Copy the Pong.
Yeah, they copied the Pong. But so this guy, Howard Scott Warshaw, he is actually really good at making kind of like good games. That's a great word. Good games. Just
okay.
Yeah.
So he's good at making games. He makes good games.
Is the stream still going? Or sorry, I think the chat stopped.
No,
It's still good.
I think it's fine.
Okay. Sorry,
I think people are just making fun of us.
I know, it's fine. Okay, so you got the scene. This guy, Warshaw, he made a game called like what was the name of the game? Does it matter?
I have no idea. I truly don't.
Yar's Revenge. And this game is about like a housefly that shoots and kills aliens, and it's a huge success, sells millions, and he finished it in like 6 months by himself. Then they give him the next deal, which is Indiana Jones like Lost Ark game.
So they're actually like tying into like tentpole movies at this point. Like this is like around the time where like the summer blockbuster is first starting to be a thing, and this guy is tying video games into those movies, so he's making bank.
Well, here's the thing. Well, not him, the Atari. He works for Atari.
Capitalism.
I don't know if that made sense, but he works for Atari, the place where they party and also work. Okay. So he made.
That's how they get you.
Raiders of the Lost Ark was the very first video game based on a movie, the very first one, and it was a huge success. People love the movie. People love the game, and so when they talked to Steven Spielberg. When E.T. was released, they talked to Steven Spielberg. He was like, I want the same dude who made the Lost Ark. And so the CEO of Atari called this guy, Warsaw, and he's like, can you make this game in 5 weeks? 5 weeks, from beginning to end, in 5 weeks. And they needed to do it, it was like end of July, and they needed to release the video by December for Christmas. And it takes, because it was a cartridge and doing all the chips, it took like 6 months to actually manufacture the whole thing. So, of course, he's like, well, at the right price, I can. So I think they negotiated something like, he got a huge bonus. I wrote down the name. I think the number, my notes are huge. I might not ever find it. But it was like, I got really excited about this yesterday. Oh, yeah, I found it. It was 200.
Doing a PhD dissertation.
I know. $200,000 and an all expenses paid vacation to Hawaii.
What's
Plus
200,000? What's 200,000 in the 80s? That's got to be like
a lot.
$10 billion today.
No. But
that's a lot though.
Yeah, no. So
200K. Jeez.
200K plus his salary. This guy's banking, and also he's like, I'm the best programmer in the world. Look at me, blah blah blah, and I'm gonna do it in 5 weeks.
And he's probably doing a ton of blow. Like, it's just like cocaine everywhere kind of a thing.
No, I think
80s.
No, it's early 80s. So I'm pretty sure it was like pot.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
We'll go with it. We're setting the scene here.
I was looking at the pictures and some video from back then of actually Atari employees and working. I'm not sure, but it seems like it's more of like pot, not other stuff.
Okay, it's like a chill hangout kind of work environment.
Oh yeah,
All
they
right.
look like super hippie. I mean, remember Steve Jobs? He was like that before Apple. I don't know if you've ever seen any documentaries about him, but you know the one with Alan Kutcher. Alan Kutcher.
Yeah, I saw the movie with Ashton Kutcher on an airplane.
Alan Kutcher.
Alan Kutcher. That guy's pretty good looking.
Yeah, that movie. Okay, he got 5 weeks. They told him, we're gonna fly you to wherever Spielberg was, so you have a weekend to come up with a design of this game that you have to finish in 5 weeks. So over a weekend, or maybe less than that, he comes up with the design of the game. He goes to Spielberg. He's like, this is what we're gonna do. This is about a game, about an ET, that he has to find 3 parts of a phone. And if he finds all the 3 parts and builds a phone, then he can go to this other place and call home and then go to his planet. But there's an FBI agent that if he catches you, he takes your phone. Or there's I know.
Takes your phone.
And there's a scientist that if he catches you, it takes you back to the city to like probe you and then yeah. And then there's the kid that helps you.
What was the rating on? Did they have game ratings back then?
I mean, they don't show. It's like 8-bit, right? So it's like you can barely tell it's ET.
I mean, but that's also the same era as like General Custer's Revenge, right? And that was kind of like, Do you ever know that one?
Nope.
Oh, we won't get into that one then.
Okay, but the point is he pitches this game, and if you think about it, it's kind of like an adventure game. It reminds me of Zelda, where you have little things to do, and it's an adventure game.
That's pretty classic, yeah.
But this was the first one. This is back when people only knew Pac-Man and Pong and
so it was like the proto like adventure game, but it wasn't good, because it sounds like all the parts are there, like the mechanics for being like a solid adventure game are there.
Well, let me get to that. Yes.
Okay.
So remember he did it. Okay, he did it in 5 weeks. Spoiler alert. He actually finished it, right? In 5 weeks.
Yeah, whatever. Like, okay. 5 weeks.
So
I can make a video in 5 weeks. That's nothing.
Well, if you think about it, if you do anything, wait, what did you say? I'm sorry.
I was just
thinking.
making fun of my own really awful upload schedule for video.
Oh.
5 weeks. 5 weeks. I can do 5 weeks easy.
Yeah, okay. A whole video game. Um, the point is, so he developed it. He also brags about how he took a whole system, a computer system, to his home, so he was always programming. And he even had a manager who would bring him food, so he didn't have to be away from his computer for more than 2 minutes. And he worked really hard on this, right? And I'm like, oh, boo-hoo. Like, nowadays, I feel like people really work more than just work. So I'm like, sure. But the point is, he's like, I worked really hard for 5 weeks. He got it done. But, of course, it's buggy, like anything.
Okay.
And they didn't do QA or testing because...
Oh, that's not a good sign.
I know. There's no time, so they're like, I'm sure it's good. Let's show it to Spielberg. And if he likes it, then we're good. That's their mentality. So they show it to Spielberg, and he's like, I mean, I guess it's fine. Like, couldn't you have done something like Pac-Man? But sure, basically. He likes it. And
gives it the seal of approval. Spielberg seal of approval.
yeah, and so they release it. And the problem was, the biggest bug... So this game is like, it's like a top-down view, kind of like the old Zelda.
All right, classic Zelda.
But you can only go up,
walking around, yeah,
like in the map, right? But there's one, if you go there's a lot of, they call it pits or wells. So sometimes when you go a certain way, you're like, oh, you fall into like a pit, and then sometimes the foam parts are in there, or sometimes there's like a flower and it does like some Easter egg stuff. But
so were you supposed to avoid the pits, or were you supposed to jump in the pits?
You're supposed to jump in them. You're supposed to jump in the pit. Go through all the pits to find your foam parts. But the problem was that there's it was like a pixel, like the sprite was touching a pixel specifically. Like, it was too sensitive. The threshold was terrible for the sprite knowing, oh, it fell into the pit.
Hitbox problems.
Yeah. So if you were if you fly out of the pit, you would fall back in right away. And you kept just falling. So that was one of the bugs. Okay. And it was also kind of confusing. It's the first adventure game. People don't know how to use it. People were used to Pong that was like, I basically just do this with my paddle. And this is what am I supposed to do? So,
and this is all like Atari era is like the cartridge is like done. Like there's no firmware updates, there's no internet. Like when you get the cartridge, that is the exact game you're stuck with forever.
100%. That's what you get. So what happened was that at the beginning, I'll get to that later. At the beginning, it was one of the best selling items, but that's because all the all the grandmas were buying it for their kids. They don't know.
That's a ton of hype. If you're coming off of like the same guy who made the Indiana Jones video game, E.T. the Extraterrestrial, because that movie was huge.
Well, okay, now I want to tell you
Tons of hype.
So I'm going to talk about the money real quick, because I think that's important.
Here we go. This is all going to be in 80s dollars, so each of those dollars is worth $10 billion today.
So talking about how much money they spent to promote it for marketing was so much. They budgeted.
Yeah, marketing budget is for a movie. Marketing budget is like the same as the movie budget.
Well, $5 million just for the advertising campaign, which was the biggest ever advertising campaign for any video game ever. They even had Steven Spielberg in one of the TV ads.
That's.
I mean, that was like.
That's a big name.
Yeah.
What was the ad like him playing with the video game, like trying to pretend that he was doing it? The furthest back my memory goes for video game commercials is like the first Smash Brothers TV commercial where they're like arm in arm and they start fighting each other, and it's so cheesy but it totally worked. And I'm just imagining the same aesthetic but with like a young Steven Spielberg like pretending to be pressing two buttons on his controller.
No, it was a kid, and it was very the commercials were beautiful because they almost look kind of like the movie.
Did he direct?
Probably. I should look that up. They were beautiful. They looked like the movie, and so it was very disappointing. because people were in love with the movie. So when they got the game, it was like really disappointing.
It's all marketing.
Yeah.
It's all marketing.
So I think the ad was like, E.T. needs help from his human friend, and that's you. Oh, anyways. And then Warshaw was flown to the London premiere of E.T., and he was given a seat in front of the Princess of Wales. So
So there's royalty involved at this
Oh,
point.
yeah.
Like there's actual
Royalty.
human royalty involved in this plot.
Let's go back to the money. So back to the money.
Back to money.
Ata-
$5 million's not enough
no,
for you?
that's nothing compared to the rest. So Atari also paid $21 million just for the rights to make the game.
ET rights.
Yeah.
And again, 20 million times 10 billion. That's a lot of money in the 80s.
Exactly. That's exactly how money works. And then they also did an initial run of 4 million copies. They were expecting to sell 4 million copies of this game.
Yeah.
No, that did not happen.
I could see what they were thinking,
Yeah.
right? Like given the success of the previous game and sort of like the track record of this one dude, like I don't think if I was a higher up, I would have no idea what a guy could do in 5 weeks or not, like with a video game. It's like, yeah, let's make 4 million of them. It's gonna sell hotcakes.
And it's E.T. It's one of the biggest movies and blah blah blah. Steve Jobs. He's not in this at all.
Steve Jobs
No,
was around.
not anymore. He was already doing Apple.
So clearly this game becomes the foundation of all of the success stories of all the video games today.
No.
Right? It sells out 4 million copies, critically acclaimed. Steven Spielberg. It's not.
Great.
Is that not where this story's
question.
going?
No.
How many did they
So here's
sell?
the thing. The reason people call this, because the game is not that bad. I mean, it's just a little bug. The reason this game...
Wait, really?
No, it's
that
not.
bad?
And you can find it online. But we'll talk about that later. The reason this game is called the worst game ever, the worst game in history ever, is because people tie this game to the end of this industry. So there's a thing called the video game crash of 1983. Yes, it's a thing.
6 years before I was born.
Wait, 83 plus 6. That's cool. So there was a crash, and when that happened they're losing a lot of money. Atari was $1 billion company that was one of the only companies that was making that much money. It was like in Silicon Valley right now.
And then the ET game just didn't sell.
Yes. And they start losing a lot of money initially. So I don't want to get too much into detail, but the point is that the CEO kind of knew that was happening. He sold his stocks. He got sued. He got fired. Then Warner, because Warner bought Atari. Warner divided up.
Warner Brothers?
Well, Warner who owns Warner Brothers probably. I don't know. Just Warner.
Oh, there was a guy named Warner, and he
No, Warner is a company. It's a massive company that's probably Warner Brothers, but back then it was just Warner. I don't know. I should have looked that up. I didn't look into that.
All right. So a man or an entity that may or may not have transformed into Warner Brothers. Warner.
It was a lot of money. So the
guy
who started Atari sold Atari for $22 million to Warner. And then in a year from then, Atari was worth $2 billion. Yeah.
$2 billion. $2 billion in $83.
$1983.
What is even $1 billion company in 83? That's nuts to me.
That's pretty big. So it was so big that I saw in a documentary that people from Warner were wearing shirts that said Warner, an Atari company, because he was like the entity from Warner that was making the most money out of anything. But okay, let's talk about I'm sorry, I lost track of where I was. Okay, it still sold 1.5 million units, but that's not enough because people were actually returning it. So that's not good.
All right, so it sold 1.5 million, but
people
then
were returning it.
A ton ton of kids are returning grandma's gift that year. Just was not up to snuff.
And then also all the retailers were returning it back to Atari. They're like, we don't want this.
They can do
Apparently,
that?
I think they could.
I didn't know that you could just straight up like send your stuff back to the wholesaler.
Maybe not everything, but about 3.5 million of the 4 million produced were sent back to the company as unsold inventory.
So that's basically almost 90%. They failed to move almost 90% of the games that they
and these
made
numbers
here.
There are some rumors that people say
wait, is that 90%? Yeah, that's how math works, right? Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
We don't have time for half-baked math. There's a rumor that they actually produce more, but they're so embarrassed about it that they just said that it was 4. But that's just a rumor, hearsay. So we're talking about the crash of 83, right? The biggest crash of 83. What happened here is not because of ET. Now, I wanted to go back there because I don't want to blame Warsaw for developing a game that bankrupted Atari. That's not what happened at all.
Was it he the one who did that, though?
He did that.
You're not going to blame him for the thing that he totally did?
No, but that's the thing. It wasn't the thing that did it. So that year before E.T., so they were betting a lot on E.T. because they needed the money. They were already losing money. And the reason is it was a saturated market. Like I said, there were a lot of companies that were copying the Atari. And they were doing it better. And they had better games. And Atari was not innovating and didn't release a new Atari console. They just kept, it was still the 2600. So they were trying to sell to a saturated market. And also there was a Commodore, so a computer, and people are like, oh, you can do other stuff other than play games in a computer?
Was this the start of the whole console PC war that is still going on today? Was that the very start of it, Commodore versus Atari?
Probably. But so there's a lot of things that killed Atari. I guess that's what I was trying to get to. It's not the game. But now
it's totally the game. It sounds like it was definitely this game.
No, I wouldn't want to give Warsaw the credit of
sell
doing
half
that.
a million out of 4 million copies, and probably even more than that.
Then I'm gonna have to give you more numbers. Hold on.
I'm blaming that guy, by the way. That guy is definitely.
I don't like that because I don't want him to get that credit. He doesn't deserve it. He did not.
You think
he
it's
did not single-handedly killed Atari.
I don't know if that's necessarily the thing you want to put on your resume as an impressive thing, as single-handedly destroyed an entire industry.
Well, actually, no. So okay, let's go back to him. That's a great. Let's talk about him.
Okay.
Right. So this dude.
All right. Did he have a rough childhood?
Smart. No, not at all. He studied. I have it somewhere, but the point is, he had a master's in computer engineering. And wait, let me scroll to his backstory. Yeah, he's from Colorado. Has got
a whole backstory. Was he bitten by a radioactive computer programmer?
No, he just has a computer engineer master's degree, and then he worked at HP, and then moved to Atari in '81. So from '81 to '82, he became one of the rockstar engineers who was already making these amazing games, and he was single-handedly picked to do E.T., one of their best games. Yeah.
Sure, yeah. He was the messiah.
Yeah, apparently. And so, now, everything fails. What happened after was that he got so depressed because people were like, oh, it wasn't your fault. It's okay. And then he started...
It was definitely his fault. He should have been depressed. That was fully earned. That was completely
on
him.
Yes.
Oh, wait, he didn't kill himself.
No.
I'm going to feel really bad if he did. Okay,
actually,
good. Then it's definitely his fault. Totally his fault.
I have very mixed feelings about him because
as long as it got better, I can make fun of him all I want.
And actually, I'm defending him, but I don't want to. And the reason is because I don't think I like this guy, at all. I've seen interviews from him. I've seen, I'm like, oh, he's your typical cocky engineer who's I can do anything that says yes to everybody, who says yes to management, and everybody is rolling their eyes we know you can.
$200,000. I'll say yes to whatever.
So you're
one
of those.
Yeah, why not?
No,
dude?
Because he killed, if you said, Atari then. because he couldn't see further from his nose.
I mean, you gotta make your money. Sometimes you gotta kill a couple industries to make some money.
But
You wouldn't topple an entire industry to just make a quick buck. I would totally do that.
Okay, so now you're defending him. Great. I love this. This is great. This is exactly what I wanted.
No, I'm saying it's totally his fault. He deserves to be horribly depressed,
No.
but like I totally would do the same thing that he did. Like if I had a button that just shut down all of YouTube for like $5 million, I would just do it. I would totally
please don't.
Like cash out, payday. Sorry everyone else.
No, don't.
I would do it in a heartbeat. I'm not saying that I shouldn't feel bad for the rest of my life for doing it. I'm just saying that's like a totally reasonable action to me. Like, I get that guy.
Okay,
I get it.
That's fine. You can feel that. I think he could have learned from it and moved on and done amazing things if he was that smart, like Steve Jobs,
just
or
not
Wozniak.
Not ever make.
So let me tell you about his story. It's pretty sad. So no, I mean, like after that he tried writing. He wrote 2 books. Then he
Were they also about ET?
No, they were not. I don't know. They were like about card games. And then he tried real estate. Then he tried to do documentaries. Then he tried to do okay. So then he got a master's in psychotherapy, and now he is a psychotherapist for couples in Silicon Valley, and he calls himself the Silicon Valley therapist because he's an engineer and a therapist, and he understands.
Okay, all right. No, that doesn't sound. It's not terrible. That sad. His hourly rate's probably still
I
pretty
think
good.
It's sad because he's a very smart engineer who could have done amazing things. And I saw a documentary. Yes, I totally geeked out on this. I saw a documentary about this, and if you guys want to know more about it, it's super interesting. It's called Atari. What is it called?
I don't know.
I have it. Game Over. Atari Game Over, and I found it on Amazon Prime Video. That's where I watch it. It's great documentary. But
do they actually interview him like modern, like now today-ish?
Yeah, he's still super cocky, and I
think you can make it then as a couples therapist in Silicon Valley. You could charge outrageously.
Oh, I'm not
for
talking about that. I'm
fine.
talking about the way the whole engineering aspect. So he's like his mentality that makes me think that if you're in any kind of industry, not just engineering, and you go and to think, oh my gosh, those were the best days of my life, I'm never going to find something like that at 24, then, oh my gosh, that's sad. That's depressing to me. And he says that nowadays. He couldn't go back to Atari, to the offices, because he's like, oh no, I haven't been back in 30 years, and this makes me so sad and depressed, and those were the days, and I was never able to find anything like this ever again, and I'm like, oh no. I mean, no.
Yeah, that's a real tough expectation if you're like hoping that things are gonna like go up from there. That's definitely not the direction things go in from there.
Well, you could set it up so that it happens if you work towards that. So like his colleagues all went to become like founders of Activision, or they all started different companies.
Oh, okay. This does tie back to video games today.
But
all right.
I think he's one of the only dudes who didn't. So to me, it's like, well, he could have used that fame towards something else, Like,
I don't know. I feel it sounds like he had like a crisis and he probably made peace with it, and like I don't know. We would have to ask the guy, but I feel like he probably just moved on from the entire thing.
He did.
He didn't even have to like go back to video games, because he's like, you know what? I had my fun and it was great, and I'll never be able to top that. So let's just do couples therapy. And maybe he's helped like a bunch of nice couples in Silicon Valley like heal their marriages and their relationships.
So now you're defending him. Great. So yes, I agree.
I've been on his side this entire time.
Me too, and that's how I felt about this dude this entire time. I'm like, I don't know how I feel about this guy, because you see him talking, you're like, come on, dude, like really? I don't know, like there's so many things about it that made me. So he keeps saying, he's the guy that seems like in every single interview that I read, in every single video I saw of him, he always brings this up. He's like, yeah, so Steven Spielberg, he said I'm a genius. But like on every single interview, he's like,
all right, he's definitely not
No.
over it then. I take back everything I said. He's definitely still he's like the high school quarterback who's always talking about like his senior year
exactly
game
that.
while on his 5th year.
Exactly that. And all the other thing he always mentions, he's like, well, Yar's Revenge is also known as the best game ever, so I guess I made the best and the worst. And I'm like, okay. So, and he...
All right, never mind. This guy's a total dick. He's definitely a
And now
huge
you
dick.
hate him again. Great. I love this because I didn't know how I felt about him at all.
Now I've changed my mind entirely on this. He's probably a really crappy psychotherapist. He's probably like really overcharging those people because he knows he can.
Yeah.
Sounds like a huge dick.
Well, I'll leave it up for everybody to watch videos.
Yeah, what are people saying? What are people saying in the
Do you
comments
want to
here?
go back to... well, can we come back to my story after that? Because I still have some left.
Oh, there's still more. What happened to
I'm
this
sorry.
guy?
No, let's not
Is
talk
that-
about him anymore. Let's talk about the legend. So,
Oh, okay.
there's a legend. So
Okay.
what happened after Atari almost going bankrupt during '83? They went ahead and dumped all of the Atari 2600 consoles.
Oh, this is the desert
and
part.
They dumped it all in New Mexico, in Alamogordo, New Mexico. They dumped
Why?
what?
Why did they bury him all in
Well,
the
but here's the
desert?
thing.
That seems
it
like
was-
the stupidest way.
It was like an urban legend for a long time until like very recently, like 2004 or something. And that's because people in, I think, the news from Alamogordo reported it, and then they were silenced or people forgot about it. And then because they reported it, the local kids from Alamogordo, I can't. Albuquerque. I'm kidding. That's the only place I know from New Mexico. I don't know.
Why didn't they just throw it in the dump like normal garbage? Why did they have to go out of their way and make a new dump just for this video
I think
game?
like Alamogordo City had a deal with Atari, and they had like the site for dumping, and they went and dumped it there. So it was like a dumping site.
Like it was radioactive waste.
So
But it was just that video game. They didn't dump
No.
anything else. Like it was just a graveyard for this like 3.5 million
that's
copies
the
of this
legend.
game.
But in what actually happened, because there's an actual story here, they actually did dump stuff, but they dumped Atari 2600, the actual consoles. They dumped E.T., and they dumped all the other games that were successful, but they still had in stock. So to me, what it seems like is they had a warehouse, they were going bankrupt, they couldn't pay for it anymore, and they just dumped it in the landfill.
So they got rid of everything.
They what?
They got rid of everything. It wasn't just ET.
Everything.
They just like
And so
completely wholesale
when the
everything.
Alamogordo News reported it, local kids went to the site and they were grabbing their free games and free consoles. And then they reported about that,
Yeah.
and then everything was silenced, and then nobody talked about it ever again for like 20 or 30 years. Then it was an urban legend. And then people like our age were like, wait, is it real? I don't know. It was before I was born. Well, or maybe not. I don't know. The point is,
So we're talking millennials here. We're talking 22 to 34 or however old they're
I don't
supposed to
know.
be. 38? I think they're going to be some 40-year-old millennials in a couple years, and it's going to be real weird because people are going to use that word to mean young people
Oh,
forever.
I have a whole rant about millennials being the different millennials. Like the range is
Different-
so big. But let's not talk about it. There's no time. Hold on. I want to go back to my story.
What time? Is this a stream stop?
No, it doesn't. Estop? Did you say estop? In Spanish. Okay.
Continue.
No,
I'm sorry.
We'll
What
go back
happened?
to the millennials because that rant is long.
What happened to the Atari games
and consoles were buried in a landfill. Then, in 2014, Atari Game Over, the documentary I watched that I recommend you guys watch. those guys are like, all right, we're gonna go excavate the landfill. We're gonna find it, and that's how they started a documentary. And they find this dude who has been trying to figure out where it is, and he like triangulates the area with 2 pictures he had from the newspaper that first reported it, and then they're trying to figure out where it is because like this place is massive, like it's just a landfill. It was a pit. They threw the Atari stuff. Then there was more trash that was dumped on top of that. Then they added a concrete layer, so it was gone completely.
Why did they need the concrete? That is like literally like nuclear waste protocol. Like they just completely.
Yeah, because we don't know what else was dumped there after the Atari. So
it could have been nuclear waste.
The city council of Alamogordo was worried about the excavation, and they actually stopped them from doing that. So the city was like, "We'll give you 6 months to excavate," but then the the Mexico Environmental Protection Division Solid Waste Bureau stop them because they're like, oh no, we're worried about nuclear pigs, zombie pigs or whatever. They were worried about something strange. Okay. And so at the end of the day, the actual excavation lasted only 3 hours. They had 6 months to do it, and they only did it in 3 hours.
That sounds a lot like how I do everything on my to-do list.
Right.
Like, that's actually how I perform anything that I do.
But that's not because you're stopped by the New Mexico
minutes.
Environmental Protection Division Solid Waste Bureau, right?
You'd be surprised.
Okay, so they're stopped. They do it. They dig for so long. A lot of people hear about this excavation. They go. They line up for it. Warsaw goes. Some Warner people go. Like celebrity people go. So celebrity people go.
Celebrity people.
And then.
In quotations, you mean like influencers?
No,
like
by celebrity, I mean like
content
to
creator.
me, Warsaw is not a celebrity. That's why I did that. But you know, he thinks he is.
So
Instagrammers and YouTubers. Oh, definitely YouTubers went. Yeah. But so out of the games, so they found it. It was really hard to find. They were they were just going through the trash. And they were trying to find like newspapers, and they found a newspaper that had a date of 82, and that's where they were like, we're so close. That's the only way they knew, because they kept digging.
So like going through like the
like back in time
Jurassic layers, yeah, like the geological layers of newspaper clippings that have the dates.
So they show the newspaper clip, they're excited, and then one dude finds a joystick, an Atari joystick, and they're like, we're so close, and then they finally find it, and they find out of the 3.5 million ET games, they found 1,300 games only. And
that's about as many as were sold in the 80s, huh?
I don't know why there were allegedly 700,000 buried, maybe more, maybe less, but who knows, maybe the local kids actually dug up more. We don't know.
Millions. What did they 1,300 you said? What did they do with those? Did they like auction them off? Did they play them?
So here's the thing, but I think it was very interesting. So the city council or whatever of Almogadoro, they are like, oh, we own them now, so we're gonna auction them and sell them because this landfill is in our city, so we own it.
The city. Yeah. That is such a skeezy move. Oh my god.
I was so mad. Okay, so
that's not how like any other kind of treasure finding would work. Like if you found gold doubloons from a pirate ship sunken off the coast, like I'm pretty sure you'd be allowed to keep those, right? They different rules for the ET game?
Well, I'm sorry. I keep saying Almogordos. Almogordo City Commission. Those are the guys who kept it. 700 out of the 1,300 because 500 games were given to the Smithsonian in DC.
Of course, you need 500.
Yeah, and whatever rest, 100 were given to the film people because they're like, oh, I guess you paid for this. Here's 100. Yeah.
Frat party souvenirs, okay.
So I tried looking them up. I wanted to buy one. I was like, oh my god, I want one. After
They're so expensive. That's gonna
No,
be
I couldn't find one.
like $10 billion.
I couldn't find a way to buy it. I think they stopped. So that was in 2014, and they put a few on eBay, and they sold like for like 1,500 or something like that each. I think they stopped. They stopped selling them. They didn't sell them all. So I don't know where they are. If they're ever gonna sell them, they're gone.
Gone.
Alamogordo, yeah, they probably sold it to the drug lords from Albuquerque. I don't know. Yes.
Breaking Bad. That's what
Me
I
too.
know about that whole
Me too.
thing.
The whole time I was reading this, I was just picturing like Breaking Bad stuff and like, oh, that's where they. Okay. There's like a minivan outside.
They threw a pizza on the roof.
Okay, so that's it about the landfill. And now I want to wrap this up. So I couldn't find the game to buy it. If you guys can find it, please send us links and put them in the comments because I want to buy one now.
How are these people gonna find a copy of this nuclear waste game?
People on the internet are great. So I just searched for like a tiny bit. So if they can find it, cool. And if not, it's fine. But about the code, what I'm really excited about is that a dude called Dennis Debro, he disassembled E.T., the cartridge, and then he got the code. He added comments to the code, and he made it open source. And now people have been fixing it, and now there's no more bugs, and it's great. Well, maybe there's just fixes to it, and people love it.
Is this available like on Newgrounds? I don't know.
Newgrounds?
People put games up on anyways.
Newgrounds?
Do they make a Flash version? Wait, does Flash even run in browsers anymore? HTML5 does, right? Do they make an HTML5 version on Newgrounds?
I know you don't know about programming
Boomer.
as much, but come on, no.
You never played a little Flash game
I know
on
exactly what
Newgrounds?
you're talking
Come on.
about, but I think that would have the code would be useless in those now, wouldn't it be?
Some kind of emulator type something. Convert to HTML5.
No, so I think it's pretty cool. It's out there. If people want to play it, you can. And
can you find it just by Googling
I'm pretty sure
it?
you can. I just found someone on YouTube playing it, and I watched him play for like 10 minutes. And actually, what's really funny about this game is that you can finish the game, and if you finish the game, it starts over. It's never ending.
So it does. I see there is a landfill dig here available for $1,150,000 on eBay.
Can you buy it for me?
It's plus $481 shipping, so unfortunately I'm not gonna be able to do that.
Fine.
What do they have? It looks like it's got the whole thing actually. It's got like a certificate of authenticity, like a copy of the actual documentary, and like stuff from the ground. It's like it looks like here that there is like an Atari video computer system along with a copy of the game, and it's only $150,000 more dollars than $1 million.
What?
This is about what? This is only $150,000 more dollars than the million trees that Elon Musk donated to Team Trees.
Can we tweet?
That's a
can we
steal.
tweet at him? Oh, the comments. Figment's Maid said, "Wait, so is it a double life game?" Because I was telling you how it just restarts and restarts and restarts. And actually, when it restarts, it brings in your score, so it's like the adult version.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's
I'm just gonna point out that only proves my point that it's a stupid system. That means that it's a bad video game and a bad animal that follows.
So that's gonna be the title of this episode:
terrible.
Double Life Game.
Double Life Game. I didn't know we were titling these things, but all right,
we can do
that.
Yeah, we can look some through some of these chat questions.
Yeah, what do you got?
Nuclear zombie pigs. That's right. 1,300 out of 700,000. That's right. Let me get my shot.
Are you grading?
That's right. I'm grading everybody. Good job. Oh, was Microsoft around then? I missed that question. No, because Microsoft was a little bit after. Maybe very close to then. I mean, Why am I saying things? I don't know anything. Microsoft founded.
Googling it.
Microsoft was founded. Oh, it was 1975 in Albuquerque, New Mexico.
It's all around there, I guess.
Oh my gosh.
Is that where Bill Gates' garage was? New Mexico? I actually don't know where any. I figured it was somewhere in the Midwest. I never actually thought about it.
Interesting. I didn't know that. So yeah, I guess Microsoft and Apple were around already, but not super big yet. Yeah.
Around Atari.
Interesting.
Okay. Huh. And then it took Microsoft like 20 years to get into the console game after that.
Yeah. That's very interesting. And it's also New Mexico, so everything's happening there. This is great.
Yeah.
Oh, I love how everything is tying up, like the Double Life game, New Mexico. This is great. I enjoy this a lot.
What do you have planned in terms of like your channel or like your Instagram? Like what's the content that we can see from Stephanie in the coming weeks?
So I am working on a new video right now, and I am riding the wave of the Instagram filters. So it's going to be another Instagram filter tutorial that everybody's.
Oh, are you allowed to say what it is?
I think I'm just going to say it because the people who are watching, they deserve to know. Whatever. That's great. Yeah. Let's give them that.
A dozen people
really
watching,
nice.
So they all get to keep secrets.
So I'm gonna make a tutorial on colors. So everybody's asking for how do you change, for example, like colors in this, like the greens into purple, but in the video all the time, like live. I don't know how to explain this. This is terrible.
Is it? You mean like Pleasantville, where like some things were black and white and some things were color? You know that old movie, Tobey Maguire?
Yeah, I can do, yes.
Or like
I teach you how to do that. I teach you how to do light leaks on you and like dust so it looks vintage. I can teach you like how to change all the overall color. Then I teach you how to animate them so it looks like light leaks are like coming in and out and rotating and stuff. So, you know, like Instagram filters are super hot right now, and it's actually not very intuitive to do those kind of things. I know it sounds super simple, like, oh, colors. Well, apparently it's like really hard to do. It took me 3 days and a half of like really hitting this thing with like a hammer every day. Like it was like from 7 a.m. until like almost 11 p.m. and then the same for 3 days, just trying that. And it was all like a lot of color math that I haven't touched in years. This is a lot coming from my game development. From my game development experience, and so
people are asking if you want to take on an apprentice.
I do, but I don't think I can because I think I would need to pay, and I don't think I can take interns right now. But thank you for asking. I think I will do something like that. Yes, more Raspberry Pi project videos are coming too, but this is just like something I wanted to tackle. I wanted to do some color math. I was curious about it. I was like, why can't I change it too? So I did it, and then I teach people how to do that. And it was, that's what's coming up soon. What about you?
I want to hunt humans for sport. So I'm going to try and make a bola gun. So bola is like a length of rope or line that's got weights at the ends. And so like you probably have seen that in like cartoons where like someone's like spinning it around their head and they throw it and like tangle some dude up who's trying to run away from you, and then you hunt them.
You
for
mean
sport.
Like cowboys?
So I want to make not like a lasso.
Kind of.
It's a similar concept in that you're trying to tangle someone up, but rather than like a closed loop of rope, this is an open length of rope, like or a couple ropes.
Yeah, I know
weights.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, so they kind of spin up and tangle people up. So I'm gonna try and make like a pneumatic gun version of that, and I'm gonna see if I can like find an open field and hunt the most dangerous game. I'm not going to eat them or anything, but I just want to see if I can outsmart a person.
So who are you going to invite for the hunting games?
I'm probably just going to find like a volunteer from the makerspace.
Oh, one of your interns?
Yeah, I'll just find an intern
Well-
from Korea, and then I'm just gonna tell him to run. Start running.
Alkmos Man is asking if you're taking any apprentices, so maybe.
Yeah, are you around SoCal? Are you in the part of Southern California that's not on fire right now?
Oh yeah, you guys are on fire.
Yeah, there's a lot of fire.
That's so
Yeah.
sad. That's scary.
Getty Fire. It's like a few miles that way.
Oh my gosh.
It's not that close. It's like there's a 405 freeway in between. Like there's not a lot of forest around here. This is like the beach area. There's nothing to really set on fire.
Wait, you're by the beach?
like 3 miles from the
Cool.
beach. I can run there if I'm in shape.
Wow.
Jay. Oh wait, is that you, Jay?
It's Ajay! Yeah, he's close to you.
Yeah. So yeah, if you want to come to I've asked you to come to the Makerspace before.
Bro.
I want you to teach class. Open invitation whenever you've got time. I really want to see those mechanical gear wrist bracelet things as a workshop. I think it'd be really cool.
He was like, hey, we should talk. I have questions. I'm like, yeah, bro, I'm free next week, and then nothing ever happened.
Now people know where to find you. Is this how often is this? Is this weekly? Is this
Let's-
monthly? Did we decide
Do it
on that?
weekly because I had a lot of fun. You had fun. I had fun. This is a fun thing.
All right. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it was fun. Yeah.
Well, it is very time consuming though because I definitely geeked out on this story.
Make it a bit
Yeah.
shorter. We'll get them to be maybe under an hour.
How long is this so far?
This is like an hour
Oh, that's
16
not that
right now.
bad. I mean, we
Eh,
went through both stories.
make-
Yours was super short. Just yeah.
That's true. Yeah, mine was pretty simple because it was just a bad
Yeah.
animal. So I think this is probably the time for us to bring up our sponsor.
Oh yeah, our great sponsor.
All right. This to the 12 people watching now, this video is sponsored by the weird feeling you get when you hit your funny bone. You know when you bump your elbow into a door frame and your elbow gets all funny feeling? Well, this video is sponsored by that. They gave us $10 billion.
We're rich
So-
now.
To start your free trial, bump your elbow into a door frame today for 30
Use
days.
code half baked science.
You don't even remember our vanity
I was gonna say instead of half baked, I was gonna say half ass science.
I mean, that's a good plan B if it's half and then the word fast.
No, half assed.
Half. No, but then it's a double entendre if we make it half and then the word fast because it's still phonetically half
Oh
fast.
yeah.
I did that
Oh,
for
Right.
competitions. We'd name our team half fast. And then they had never let us say our team name out loud. It was the weirdest thing.
I don't even know what that means. What is that? What? You're not allowed to.
Well, we got. Do you listen to Dear Hank and John by any
No.
chance from Figment's Made? No, I don't know that podcast. Funny Bone, yeah, sponsored by the Funny Bone. Big bone. We're in the pocket of Big Bone
Okay,
now.
we can close it with. Tell me what's your favorite podcast right now.
Favorite podcast right now is geez. I wish it was Radiolab, but they're just not posting very much. So I guess I would say Ear Hustle's pretty dang good right now. Makes me feel good about not being in prison.
What's the name again?
It's rough. Ear Hustle.
Okay.
Ear Hustle is in the San Quentin prison up in the Bay Area, I
Okay.
think it is. And so it's sort of a podcast where you get to hear about sort of the lives of prisoners as they live them
Okay.
day to day. So it's like it's some real stuff,
Yeah.
some real shiz.
That's pretty good. I should listen to that. I'm looking for more podcasts.
It's
Yeah.
heavy. It does. I mean, it makes you feel real happy to not be in
That-
prison, but it can be heavy.
wow.
Yeah, serious stuff. What are you listening to
I'm like-
other than half?
Other than half baked science,
Yeah.
I started listening to Bunny Ears podcast. That's the one with Macaulay Culkin.
Macaulay Culkin's doing
Yeah.
Of course, Macaulay Culkin's doing it. But what
I
else
know,
would he be doing?
Well, do you know his YouTube channel? He started with a YouTube channel.
How many subscribers does Macaulay
That's a
Culkin
great
have?
question. Let's check. His channel's called The Bunny Ears, and he's super funny because he's super awkward. The Bunny. Oh, ears. Da 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 da. Oh no, I click on the Bunny Ears podcast. Where's the actual?
He's got to have a million subscribers, right? It's
Nuh-uh.
Macaulay Culkin. He's like old money. That's real celebrity there.
A real celebrity. Bunny Ears. Why can I find it?
It's probably got
Oh no.
5 million subscribers.
Okay, lower.
10 million subscribers. 15 million
Lower.
subscribers.
Like way lower.
20 million
Lower.
subscribers. 500K. 500K.
Lower.
100K.
Lower.
He doesn't have a silver play button? 50.
Lower. Dude, he has 39.6 subscribers. That's
30. Oh, 39,000.
Sorry.
Okay. I was like 39.6 subscribers. He has a subscriber who lost 4/10 of his body in an awful
Yeah, YouTube changed the
chipper
way
accident.
they show how many subscribers you have. Well, anyways, I was surprised too, but I really like him. Let's help him.
Get that
help
silver button, Macaulay
To the
Culkin.
12 people listening, let's send them over to the Bunny Ears. He's pretty funny. And also, I listen. It's no secret that I'm a huge fan of My Favorite Murder, and That's Why We Drank, another great podcast.
Oh, stay sexy, don't get murdered,
Yes.
right? That's the sort of sign off.
Yeah, stay sexy and don't get murdered. Oh, what's gonna be our sign off?
I mean, it's gonna have to be something organic. I don't know if we can really come up with
I know.
something right now. If it could be a pun, it'd be great. With the word
Okay.
baked. Stay
No.
baked! But that's not really that kind
No,
of
no,
podcast,
no,
I
no.
don't think. Anyways, I'm Alan.
And I'm Stephanie.
And we love you. Bye!
Bye. I still stopped streaming. I don't know how.